start our open meeting agenda with the first item, which is docket number 4755, in our National Electric Company doing business as National Grid. National Grid submitted a compliance filing on December 26, 2017. The amended 2018 energy efficiency. It was submitted to reflect the PUC's decision at an open meeting on December 20th, 2017. Subsequently, on January 5th, 2018, National Grid submitted a request for approval of the amended 2018 energy efficiency plan, which includes the company's electric and gas energy efficiency program charges for effect January 11th, 2018. And I think we want to discuss this.
So, first I'll describe my general reaction to this compliance filing. Then I'm going to walk through what I think should be what I use as the decision-making framework. And then I'll sort of lay out what I think our options are in terms of the decision that we can make. So, in terms of my reaction to the compliance filing, my intent and my expectation was that the two directions that were given to the company at the December 20th open meeting would have the ultimate outcome of slightly reducing the cost of the energy efficiency programs while achieving the same level of energy savings. The December 26th compliance filing is not fully consistent with that expectation. Instead of reducing the budget and the cost to ratepayers, the company reallocated the savings to evaluation spread out across a number of programs. I think it's important to know that the filing does not include an explanation for this reallocation, so we have no insight into why the company chose to do this. So, the primary objective of our directions to the company were met because the company is not receiving a shareholder incentive on the budget for pilots and R&D, but the resulting outcome is not fully consistent with my expectations when making that decision. So that's sort of like, that was my reaction. I guess I would say, to be frank, I was a bit disappointed and frustrated by that resulting outcome. But I felt like we needed a decision-making framework here based on the legality of the compliance filing. So I asked council to provide guidance on two threshold questions. The first was what exactly did we direct National Grid to do at that December 20th open meeting? So council and myself went back and we listened to the recording so that we could make sure we understood what direction we gave. So the direction was specifically require the company to refile the 2018 Energy Efficiency Program Plan with a budget carve-out for pilots and R&D so that it does not apply to the calculation of the shareholder incentive. National Grid has complied with this direction. That motion did not specify what National Grid should do with the savings, and National Grid subsequently did not ask PUC Council to clarify. So the next question that I asked Council to provide guidance on was, is National Grid's December 26th compliance filing in compliance with the December 20th decision? So, like, National Grid complied with what we asked them to do, and then they did something else. And does that something else sort of make the compliance filing non-compliant? Council advises that the compliance filing is in compliance. It's in compliance. So here I think are our two options. We could approve the compliance filing, finding that it's technically in compliance, but give direction that if there is uncertainty with respect to how the company should allocate, if there is any uncertainty with respect to what the PUC has directed in the future, that the company should seek clarification And that in the future, the commission will be certain to provide very specific instructions on what we expect to see. So that would be our first option. And I think our second option also is within our authority to reject this compliance filing and ask the company to refile it again with specific instructions to subtract the savings from the budget and reduce the system benefit charge by the equivalent amount. So that's
Now, in listening to the discussion that we had at the open meeting, and I have to say, I didn't listen to it. I listened to a retelling of it. So, but it was my understanding that we did have some discussion about evaluation. The fact that there was what seems to be a lack of evaluation in how the company performed on certain aspects. Am I confusing that with another argument?
So one of the things that was raised when we made the December 20th decision was that the R&D programs, that the commission doesn't get any feedback on the R&D programs. There's no reporting back. But the way the company has reallocated the budget to allocation, they didn't reallocate it to R&D evaluation, which would have addressed that issue that we raised at the decision. They just reallocated it to evaluation across a number of different programs. So for example, large C&I got, let's just say, that this isn't accurate, but maybe like $1,500 more for their evaluation. Small business may have gotten, a bit more for evaluation, but it's spread out across a lot of different programs.
Does that indicate we might have a third option where we could find that it's in compliance, but direct that the monies, well, not necessarily just the monies that were reallocated to evaluation, but that the company somehow incorporate some transparent evaluation for R&D.
I would ask counsel to advise on that.
Well, evaluation is not included in the, is excluded from the budget for purposes of determining the performance incentive. So the company would not have to recalculate the system benefit charge. I'm looking at Mr. Knoll to confirm that. If that's the case, you certainly could, the issue is whether you could accept this and ask for a reallocation of the funding from across all evaluation programs to instead specifically target the savings, the allocation to just R&D.
Although that could be done without any necessarily targeting, it could all stay where it is, but that the company start in those areas, incorporating some transparent evaluation for R&D for those different reclassifications.
I think, I'm asked for guidance on this, but that it would be within our authority to ask for reporting back on R&D, and that could be done actually under any of our decisions that we make.
Oh, of course that's within your authority to ask the company to report on various aspects of this program or any other program. I thought, Chairperson Curran, you were asking if you could accept this filing with the system benefit charge as calculated, and also order the company to reallocate all or a portion of the funds spread out among evaluation programs in the energy efficiency plan as presented in the compliance filing. Take some or all of that and put it towards evaluation of R&D.
I would be concerned about getting too micromanaged. And so that's why I was hesitant to suggest that we would want to order redirection with such detail, but just to indicate I was more interested in whether that satisfied Commissioner Anthony's concern somewhat.
Well, I just want to pipe up, and I did listen to the transcripts, and when I heard the phrase that we do not get any reporting back on the results of the R&D and the pilots, I said, oh, okay, that's why they made the decision that they did. However, I think that, as you said, there was no explanation. So it makes it, that's my conjecture, that may be wrong, and it doesn't follow that if you take the savings and spread it amongst all the different PM&D programs, you're going to end up with a better sense of how the pilots perform. I want to say at this point that I continue to believe that the energy efficiency team at National Grid, and I think we all think this, exemplifies what we're looking for in the utility of the future. The efficiency program is where our public and our private interests are aligned, and planning is conducted collaboratively and with more transparency than is usual in private sector operations. It's to the credit of the team that the high targets are being maintained despite the transfer of funds and the budget caps that we've encountered this year. And I certainly don't want to penalize the team or negate the excellent work that's being done. On the other hand, the external pressures that led to the reduction of the budget and the cap are exactly why it's super important that the PUC is very diligent in their review. I commend Commissioner Anthony with the really outstanding work that you've done on this. Our regulatory mandate is to push the company to use ratepayer funds as efficiently and effectively as possible. We have to hold the company to the highest possible standard of performance, and our role as commissioners is to function as the marketplace, but a marketplace with the public interest at heart. So I think my thought off the top of my head would be to go with your first option, Abigail, or Commissioner Anthony, with the caveat that we request some reporting on the pilots. And again, I note that the company pays very careful attention to the directives issued by the commission. So last year, I think we suggested that we needed more of an accounting of the evaluation programs that had been done, and that was included in this year's plans, which I found very helpful, very weedy, but helpful to know the evaluations that had been done, and perhaps we could request the same of the pilot programs. So that, my thought would be to go with your first alternative with the addition of your second proposal, Chairperson.
I'm inclined to agree with that, to approve the compliance filing. If there were larger amounts of money that we were talking about, I might feel differently. But this isn't, in the big scheme of things, this is not a large amount of money. So that I'm inclined to approve this compliance filing. I think it would be an additional benefit to get reporting back on the pilots that were done. But I want to include in that if in the future if there is any uncertainty that the company should seek clarification from council. And of course, on our end, we will endeavor to be very clear in our expectation for what the company would do with savings.
I'm in favor of that also. Do you want to state a motion?
So I move to approve National Grid's December 26th compliance filing, the amended 2018 energy efficiency plan, with additional direction that the company provide reporting on the R&D and pilot program. And that if there's any confusion with respect to the Commission's intent and future decisions, that the company will seek clarification from the PUC Council.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And does the commission support the company's request to make these rates effective January 1? For a file the company made on January?
Yes, we would need separately for that.
I don't, so I need a separate motion.
To move that the rates proposed in the December 26th compliance filing, the amended 2018 energy efficiency plan, will go into effect on January 11th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.